There's only one thing you need to understand if you want sellers to consistently accept your lowball offer, and it's the fact that human beings make decisions based on one simple goal. They will do something if they believe that it will improve their quality of life, and it's as simple as that. Think back to every single decision that you've ever made. If you are going to spend money on something, you need to believe that this will have a net benefit to your life. And so today, what I'm going to be talking about is how to frame your lowball offer to actually help sellers improve their quality of life. If you are new to this channel, all we do here is we teach individual wholesalers how to get to 100K per month. And then from there, how to train their reps to hit 6 figures a month consistently. So that way you can run a multiple 7-figure wholesaling business. And if you are already subscribed, welcome back. I have another one that's going to help you crush it in today's market. When we look at the frame of your offer, we have to break down what does that actually mean. You could see one thing, it's a watch. And let's say you've got a watch that's $100. You've got another watch that looks completely identical and it's $50,000. Why are people willing to spend $50,000 on a watch where you can buy the exact same one that's identical? It's because they like the status, right? It's because they feel like their quality of life will improve more if they have the real Rolex instead of the fake Rolex. It's because they feel like their status will be better. Other people will look at them differently. And that's why they make that decision. Now, the same thing applies with our sellers. Now, in order to do that, there's a couple of steps that we need to implement first. The first thing we need to implement is we need to get them to realize that their current state is not as good as they think it is. This is why you ask questions like, what came up recently that caused you to feel like you want to sell the house now? And we go deeper on those. We might ask, how do you mean by that? In what way though? What about your house being too big is causing you to feel like that? We want them to start talking to themselves and us about the problems they're dealing with their current situation. Why would we do that? We do that because when their current situation, when they realize how bad it is, their future situation seems inherently better. It's pretty simple. If they feel like their current situation is bad, then even a small change will make it better. If you can get them to make a big change, they're even more willing to do that thing regardless of the price. And this is what a lot of people get hung up on. I used to get hung up on this too, especially before I started making good money. Before I started making good money, I used to think everything was about money. Every decision that I made, everything was all about the money. If you have more money in your bank account, you are inherently happier. And now, as I've made more money, I don't really have to worry about money anymore. I realized that's actually not the case. If you gave me $10 million and told me that I had to move to Chad, Africa and live in a shack, I would go, absolutely not. Couldn't pay me enough money to be able to do that. You could pay me $1 billion and tell me I wasn't able to see my kid again, and I still wouldn't do it. You could even tell me, hey, I'll give you $1 billion and you can't see your kid again, or you're broke for the rest of your life, but you get to spend the rest of your life with your kid every single day. I'd go, yeah, you know what? I would pick my kid. Why? Because money is not the most important thing. And a lot of times when we realize that and when we feel that ourselves, it's actually easier to get sellers to accept a lower discount. Maybe another example. You might have a dog or a cat that's like your absolute best friend. And let's say that, you've got $5,000 in your bank account. Unfortunately, your pet needs an emergency surgery. Your dog needs an emergency surgery or he's not going to live. And they need to do it right now. Doctor says, hey, you have to spend this $5,000 or the dog's not going to make it. Most people, if they have the $5,000, they're just going to go ahead and pay it. And the reason why they will pay it is because they understand that their quality of life is better with that dog than with the $5,000. And everyone would do that for their children. And so the same concept applies when you are talking to sellers. If you can get them to realize that taking a lower offer, but being able to move into that dream home or move into that new state, go spend more time with their kids, be in a nicer house that's in a better condition. If you can get them to realize that that will improve their quality of life more than keeping that money or keeping that equity in their home, they are going to not only accept your offer, but be grateful for it. The first step is getting them to realize how bad their current state actually is. The second step is to get them to visualize their future state in detail. So if you've ever worked with a mindset coach that wants to motivate you to do something, they typically do all the same exercises. I've gone through a couple of them, like Tony Robbins, some other people that you guys probably wouldn't know. And they do the same exact exercise. They say, okay, I want you to close your eyes. I want you to envision your life in 3 years from now. And you have your dream life, your perfect life. You're going to drive up to your driveway. What kind of car are you driving? Look around. What does it smell like? What does it feel like? How does the ride feel? right? What's your driveway look like? How do you feel as you're looking at your new house? Okay, so I want you to now step outside the car. I want you to walk up to your front door. What's the feeling that you're getting as you're walking to your front door? I want you to open that door. What's the first thing that you see? What do you hear? What do you smell? And I remember doing this exercise, which this has changed a little bit for me, but I remember like I always wanted to buy this house on Camino Capistrano in San Clemente. And I was like, okay, this is the house that I wanted. I don't really like California anymore, but at the time it's like the dream home. I like imagine myself opening that door, hearing the sound of the waves from the ocean, smelling the salt water, having the French doors completely opened up or the sliders completely opened up where I can look out into the ocean, big open concept house. And I was visualizing this. And what was happening while I was doing that is I was changing my state. I was changing my state from maybe like a flat state or a distracted state to an excited state. I was getting excited about that future. And that excitement is what motivates you to want to make a change. And so the same thing applies when we are talking to our sellers. We want to find out what problems they're dealing with now. And the more that we have, the deeper that we go there, the more they realize how bad their current state actually is. Then we want to get them into their future state. We want to get them to envision what their life is going to be like after the sale. Once they sell that home, maybe they take that money and they get to go on that vacation that they've been dreaming of with their spouse, with their wife, with their husband. Maybe they get to finally retire. They no longer have to work and show up with their boss every single day. Maybe they're moving down to Florida and they just want to spend time with their grandkids. Get them to talk about what they do with their grandkids, what they're looking forward to the most. What are those big moments going to be like when they're actually there for them? And the more that they can see that, the more excited they're getting about the future, the less they're thinking about how much they're going to need to walk away within their bank account or how much they want to walk away within their bank account. They're thinking about the result. This is why we call it result-based thinking versus price-based thinking. This is how you get away from being a commodity and get sellers to work with you regardless of if you are the highest price, because you got them there. You got them excited to be able to make that decision. Once we do that, we find out what is the minimum requirement. What do they need in their pocket to be able to make that change in their life? Now, they might think that they want $150,000 for this house because that's what Zillow says. But after they really get excited about it, they go, you know what? I could honestly do this with 45 grand if I could just, have enough to make a down payment on the next house. I can afford the payment. And this is how you get big discount. And then at the end of your call, you don't just give them the 45 grand. You ask them, hey, let's say that I could put that $45,000 in your pocket. Let's say I could get you there in the next 2 weeks so you could be there for your grandkid's birthday. And we help you with all of the other things that you said you needed help with. If we could do all of that for you, what would be your biggest concern? Now, at this point, the seller has understood where their current situation is. They understand where they actually want to be. This is how they get motivated to want to make that change. And the better that you get at this, the less you get, I need to think about it. I need some more time. I need to go shop it around. They get in the state where they just want to take action on what they want. And so this is how you help them do that. That way, when you present your offer and you say, hey, the best offer you can get is $45,000, but that would help you do X, Y, and Z. They are thanking you instead of being resentful for your lowball offer. I hope this helps. This is just surface level of what we go into in our advanced inner circle every single day. We have sales training 5 days a week where we have an Ask Me Anything call. We do a phase breakdown on every single step that I just mentioned today, plus much, much more. You can role play this with me where I'll role play it back with you. We have an objection handling class and a call review so you can get live feedback on your calls. Plus, we have some of the most advanced ownership and business scaling support that exists out there. So if you guys are ready to take your business to the next level, you want sellers to actually start thanking you when you give them a lowball offer, click the link below to apply for our advanced inner circle. And if you haven't subscribed already, make sure you subscribe for new videos like this every single week. I will see you guys on the next one. Bye, guys.